Welcome to all of you in today's lecture. That is, we discuss about the structured query language. We start in last two lectures from the last two lectures. Now today we discuss some commands related to that of the structured query language, and we have some hands-on practicals. First of all, we need to discuss what are the different types of commands that will be used in that structured query language. Okay. In the previous lecture, we discussed the different basic terminologies related to that SQL. In that case, the basic elements of the SQL. What are the basic elements where we consider that is clauses, expressions, predicates, queries, and corresponding statements. Then next thing here we discuss about the architecture of SQL. That is, in this case here we need to write the SQL query given to the query processor. Query processor helps with the help of a parser and query optimizer, that is the backend processing where take place in this particular phase. The database engine, the output of the query processor will be given to the database engine, DBMS engine, and with the help of file manager and transaction manager, DBMS engine can fetch the data from the physical database, and where the corresponding the given query, the resultant data should be returned to that of the end user. This is the architecture generally we will be considered. Now, in the next thing here, we consider some advantages and disadvantages. That is, the SQL language is simple to use. It is completeness, data independence is there, easy of extinction. That means we can increase easily with the library functions or built-in functions. Then support for the high-level language is also given with the help of SQL. Okay. That is, structured query language can be used in high-level languages to design the applications and the related database management system. Now, here today we start about the basic structure of SQL. What is the basic structure of SQL? In that case, how that SQL language can be implemented in case of a database management system. Okay. Now, in this case, when we consider the basic structure of SQL, we need to identify what is the format of the given query, how we can write the particular query, and in which way we can perform the particular query. Here, SQL allows to user define the data in the database manipulation system in the database, and to perform the manipulation of that particular data. Data manipulation in the sense that is to add the data, to handle the data properly. That is, in this case here we consider to insert the data, to delete the data, to update the particular data from the given database system. That is nothing but the manipulation. Now, in this case here, we have to consider, according to this particular manipulation concept, we need to consider different parts like a data definition language. Now, these parts can be considered under this SQL language. That is, first one is nothing but data definition language. Secondly, we consider the data manipulation language. Then third one is nothing but the view definition. Then embedded SQL, integrity authorization, and transaction control. These are some parts related to that of the structured query language to perform the manipulation of the data. Okay. Now, after this, here we need to represent the data definition language. We need to discuss all these things very clearly with the help of corresponding commands we use in that SQL language. Here, when we write the particular statement corresponding to the query, that is the statement which is used to retrieve the information. डेटाबेस मधनं डेटाबेस इन्फॉर्मेशन रिट्राइव्ह करायची असेल, इन्फॉर्मेशन आपल्याला फेच करायचं असेल, त्यासाठी आपण जे स्टेटमेंट राईट करतो. नाउ दॅट स्टेटमेंट करस्पॉन्ड्स टू अ पर्टिक्युलर क्वेश्चन, and that question can be represented with the help of particular commands in the form of SQL structure. That statement is called as the query of the SQL. त्या SQL language मधनं ती काय कन्सिडर केली जाते, that is nothing but the query. Now here what happen, query is nothing but a particular question, or it is a particular what we can say in this case, that is we have a particular required information, and we retrieve this information with the help of this particular query from the database. Now here we consider query, which is a database command. Query is nothing but it is one of the database command which helps to retrieve that record or retrieve the particular data from the relation. Now in this case, basic SQL expression consists of three clauses. We discuss the different clauses here. Main three clauses you use in your SQL language is nothing but, first one is the select clause, second one is nothing but the from clause, and third one is nothing but the where clause. When we consider the select clause, in which that is this select clause corresponds to that of the projection operation. When we consider the relational algebra in the sense that is we consider the mathematical view of representation, we represent this select operation with the help of projection operation. Now it is the list of attributes that will be appear in the resulting table. We retrieve the information, but what type of or which information you want to retrieve from the database. This information is considered as a or that list will be considered in the select table. Now in this case, in another way we can say in simple words, that is we have a table and corresponding columns to that table. Okay, and from that table we want to access only some of the value of columns. For example, we consider the student table, and in that student table we want to access the student roll number, student name, and student percentage. Actually, student table contains various fields, that is roll number, name, then contact number, that is mobile number, then corresponding address, then class of the student, then corresponding we can say, that is we consider percentage of the given students, like that is various types of columns were available for the student. These are nothing but the attributes to explain the particular student. But from all these columns we want to select or we want to fetch only roll number, name, and percentage of the student. Remaining where we are not required. Now in this case, select clause consider only these three things, that is select the result or our resulting table shows only roll number, name, and percentage of the given student. We can specify these three columns. Okay, that is the select clause. And from clause means what? That is in which relation we want to fetch this particular information. ही select information कुठल्या table मधनं कुठल्या relations मधनं fetch करायची, that should be given in the from clause. Now here corresponding to that of the Cartesian product. Okay, Cartesian operation, from clause is related to that of the Cartesian operations. Cartesian operation is nothing but to perform the cross product of two relations. Suppose we want student roll number, student name, and student name from a student table. Okay, student information table, and we have one more table, that is the student qualification, and from that qualification table we represent or we fetch the data of a student percentage, because qualification, in case of the qualification details we have the percentage column. Okay, we consider student table, that is the personal information, and qualification table which contains the educational related information. We consider these two tables to fetch these previous three columns, that is the roll number, name, and percentage. Roll number, name तुम्हाला मिळणार आहे तुमच्या स्टुडंट टेबल मधनं, आणि पर्सेंटेज मिळणार आहे तुम्हाला दुसऱ्या टेबल मधनं, दॅट इज एज्युकेशनल क्वालिफिकेशन टेबल मध्ये. मग हे दोन टेबलचा क्रॉस प्रोडक्ट काय केला जातो, कन्सिडर केला जातो, आणि त्या क्रॉस प्रोडक्ट वरनं तुम्हाला काय करायचं, तो रिझल्ट फेच करायचा आहे. परंतु हा क्रॉस प्रोडक्ट दिल्यानंतर तुमच्याकडे खूप सारे, सपोज स्टुडंट टेबल मध्ये 3 एंट्री होत आहे आणि एज्युकेशनल क्वालिफिकेशन मध्ये 4 एंट्री होत्या. टोटल क्रॉस प्रोडक्ट ज्यावेळेस परफॉर्म केला जाईल त्यावेळेस तुमच्याकडे जो टेबल असतो, क्रॉस प्रोडक्टचा जो टेबल तयार होणार आहे, तिथे टोटल एंट्रीज किती मिळणार आहे तुम्हाला, 3 into 4, that is total 12 entries are in the cross product table. Okay, and among these 12 tuples we need to fetch only some of them. ओके, आपल्याला सगळेचे सगळ्याची गरज नाहीये, परंतु आपल्याला कुठल्या तरी एका स्पेसिफिक रिप्रेझेंटेशन नुसार ते टेबल पाहिजे. नाउ हाऊ वी कॅन कन्सिडर दॅट पर्टिक्युलर सिच्युएशन, फॉर दॅट पर्पज वी नीड टू यूज दिस व्हेअर क्लॉज. ओके, नाउ I want to fetch the information of a student whose percentage greater than 60 only. ओके, जी इन्फॉर्मेशन मी फेच करतोय त्यामध्ये मला काय कंडिशन मी काय अप्लाय करणार आहे, ज्यांचे पर्सेंटेज 60 पेक्षा जास्त आहेत. मग आपल्याला जे 12 टपल्स मिळतात, ह्या 12 टपल्स मधनं असे विद्यार्थी फक्त फेच करायचे की ज्यांचे पर्सेंटेज हे काय असायला पाहिजे, 60 च्या अबोव असतील. नाउ दॅट कंडिशन इज रिप्रेझेंटेड इन केस ऑफ अ where clause. Now it corresponds to the selection operation. Selection means what, we can represent a particular condition. Selection operation is related to that of algebraic relational algebra, which is the mathematical. Okay, it is the expression that controls which rows appears in the resulting table. Resulting table मध्ये कोणत्या rows fetch करायच्या, कोणत्या rows display करायच्या, त्याचं डिसिजन जे घेतलं जातं ते where clause मध्ये घेतलं जातं. This is the 3 clauses were used in the structured query language. Okay, now how we can, in which way we can use these 3 clauses, we can see this SQL is a based on set of relational operations which contain with certain modifications, and we have some enhancement related to that of the relations or operations. Now typically we represent a particular SQL query in this form, that is, this is the general form. We consider select A1 A2 up to AN from R1 R2 up to RM, where P Okay, we discussed all these three things in this particular point. Select particular columns. This is A1, attribute 1, attribute 2, attribute AN. These are the different attributes from the given relation R1, R2 up to RM. RM एवढे रिलेशन्स तुमच्याकडे आहेत आणि ह्या नंबर ऑफ रिलेशन्स वरनं तुम्हाला हे ऍट्रिब्यूट काय करायचे फेच करायचे. सपोज हियर ऍट्रिब्यूट A1 प्रेझेंट इन द रिलेशन R1, attribute A2 which is present on the relation R2 up to attribute AN which is present in the relation RM. For this purpose, we need to represent the cross product of all these particular relations, and from these relations, from this cross product, we get some of these attributes with the help of this select query. Okay, and here we can represent where P is nothing but the predicate which has the condition. Okay, we can represent it is a condition, and how according to the result of condition we have to retrieve that number of attributes from A1 to AN. In the form of algebraic relational algebra, we represent the same query. This is nothing but the symbol to represent the projection operation. हा symbol कशाचा आहे तुमचा? Projection operations आहे. Now here we can represent attribute name in case of a projection in under the projection. Then this is the sigma which represent the selected, okay, which represent the select operation. Select what? According to the given condition. दिलेल्या कंडिशन नुसार तुम्हाला सिलेक्ट करायचे. काय सिलेक्ट करायचे? रोज, that is relation 1, relation 2 up to relation RM. हे relations चे क्रॉस प्रोडक्ट, इथे क्रॉस दिसतोय बघा. Now we take the cross product of all these, and among all these particular relations we have one common relation of all the cross product, and accordingly we select a specific attribute values from the given table by with the help of this particular given condition. Okay, the result of an SQL query is a particular relation also. आपल्याला जो रिझल्ट रिटर्न केला जातो तो सुद्धा काय असतो? एक टेबल फॉर्मॅट असतो. टेबल फॉर्मॅट मध्ये त्या ठिकाणी ती रिलेशन काय होते किंवा जी काही रिझल्ट असेल तो रिझल्ट त्या ठिकाणी फेच केला जातो. Now next thing here we consider the query processing state, how your query will be processed. We can see this particular diagram. In that diagram we can see the SQL query. We have to pass SQL query to the parser or a translator of the query. Then with the help of query optimizer we change the data, that is we have the database catalog, and with the help of database catalog we store the information into that catalog and we fetch some information from the given catalog. Okay, accordingly data optimization will take place, and then execution engine is also one of the most important part in the SQL, because with the help of this particular engine we can execute your query, okay, given in the database catalog. Now here data is nothing but the physical storage area where we store data physically. त्या ठिकाणी तो डेटा काय असणार आहे तुमचा? फिजिकली स्टोर केलेला असेल. दॅट इज नथिंग बट द डेटा सेक्शन. This is nothing but the query processing steps used in the SQL language. Now here we have to some definitions of a commands. We have to create the particular database. We discuss data definition language first, okay, in this particular part. We consider the data definition language, which type of languages or which type of commands were used in the data definition. We need to consider all these things in case of the data definition language. Before that we need to represent this particular some few of the things corresponding to the given database or database management system. Now what is given there? Creating a particular database. How to create the database? For that purpose we use create database statement. Okay, create database, it is the one of the command, and in that command we, with the help of this command we can create the database value, or we can create the database. Now next thing here we consider, we see this particular syntax to create the create database. Then database name you need to identify. आपल्याला SQL मध्ये एखादा डेटाबेस क्रिएट करायचा असेल त्यावेळेस आपण हा क्रिएट डेटाबेस ही कमांड त्या ठिकाणी वापरणार आहोत. Create database and corresponding database name. We can create the database. Okay. Now next thing here we came on, that is dropping or deleting the phase. Deleting phase, drop the database means what? We need to delete the database from the given database system. त्या सिस्टीम मधून डेटाबेस डिलीट करायचा असेल त्यावेळेस काय केलं जाईल? ही ड्रॉप डेटाबेस कमांड त्यामध्ये यूज केली जाईल. ओके, नाउ हियर when we create a particular database, accordingly we need to represent which type of value should be stored into that database. आपल्याला त्या डेटाबेस मध्ये कोणती व्हॅल्यू त्या ठिकाणी स्टोअर करायची, कोणत्या टाईपची व्हॅल्यू स्टोअर करायची असते, ती व्हॅल्यू आपल्याला रिप्रेझेंट करावी लागते. जसे इतर डेटाबेसेस मध्ये, इतर टाईपच्या प्रोग्रामिंग लँग्वेजेस मध्ये तुम्ही ज्या पद्धतीच्या टाईपच्या व्हॅल्यूज स्टोअर करता, जसे इंटिजर व्हॅल्यू असेल, कॅरेक्टर व्हॅल्यू असेल किंवा फ्लोट व्हॅल्यू, फ्रॅक्शनल व्हॅल्यू त्या ठिकाणी आपण म्हणू शकतो, किंवा स्ट्रिंग टाईपच्या फॉर्मॅट मधला डेटा म्हणू शकतो. ह्या व्हॅल्यू स्टोअर करण्यासाठी एसक्यूएल मध्ये सुद्धा काही डेटा टाइप्स काय करावे लागतात, आपल्याला यूज करावे लागतात. तर कॉमनली यूज होणारे जे डेटा टाइप्स आहेत त्यामध्ये पहिला आहे न्यूमेरिक. न्यूमेरिक मीन्स व्हॉट, वी हॅव टू स्टोअर द इंटिजर व्हॅल्यू which has the 2 byte data size in case of SQL, and this will be considered as a corresponding range of that is 4 byte data integer, and according to the 4 bytes of the integers, we consider these numbers from positive to negative. Okay, now next thing here, character, that is we can consider the syntax char of n. Char is the data type representation, and n is nothing but the particular variable char of n. Now here n can mention the size of a character. किती characters तुम्हाला त्या ठिकाणी input द्यायचे. Now that number of character memory will be allocated to that. Okay. Then next thing is nothing but the date and time of your system. We easily execute it. Then next thing is nothing but the boolean, that is value true and false. We can consider as a boolean value. Okay, these are some basic data types used in the SQL language. Now first of all, we need to consider, before going to practical session, we need to consider some of the commands were used in the database system. For that purpose, we need to define DDL. DDL in the sense that is the data definition language. Data definition language means what, we need to define the database. For that purpose, we use this DDL. मग याच्यासाठी करस्पॉन्डिंग कमांड्स कोणत्या कोणत्या वापरल्या जातील, कुठल्या कमांड्सचा यूज करून आपण डेटाबेस त्या ठिकाणी डिफाइन करू शकतो. नाउ दिस कमांड वी आर क्रिएट or it is used to creating, manipulating and modifying the particular object as a snap flow, such as a user, virtual households, warehouses, then databases, schema tables, views, columns, functions, and stored procedure. It is a very useful and powerful tool of the SQL language. Now they are also used to perform many account levels and session operations. Okay, such as setting parameters, initializing variables, and initializing the transactions. Then here we have to list some data definition language commands: creating a table, okay, then dropping the particular table, describing the particular table, truncate the table, alter the table, rename the table, comment the particular table, and we can say lastly use of the tables. Okay, we consider all these things related to that of the data definition language. Okay, that's why first of all we need to consider all these things. First of all, we need to represent how to create the database. Okay, we execute this particular query to create the database. We can go with the practical. I will show you how we can execute that particular database, or we can represent that particular database system. Okay, uh, I will share my whole screen to all of you, so then don't worry. Now MySQL, it is one of the database management system. We can use MySQL command. Okay, command line client we have to use. We see this, that is the password. Enter your password. Every database system has its own password. Actually, we consider two environments. Okay, first one is nothing but the Linux environment, and second one is nothing but the Windows environment. When we represent the Linux environment, at that environment we use another type of operating database system, that is the PostgreSQL. When we consider, now in this case also, in Windows also we can use, but instead of this, we are clearly execute the particular commands with the help of this MySQL. Okay, MySQL, it is one of the database management system. Here I will write the password for this. When we install the MySQL, or when we install the PostgreSQL, we have to consider the particular password, that is the login password. We put that particular password in on the given command. Okay, it will take some time to open the file. Okay, can you see this? This is the MySQL prompt. इथे बघा तुम्हाला MySQL prompt आलेला असेल. Now first of all we need to consider what is or how we can create the database. We see this particular syntax to creating the database. We directly use create statement. With the help of this create statement, we can create the database, we can create the table. For that purpose, we need to consider this particular syntax in this way. Now, create database, and then we need to specify the database name. We can see this. We are on the MySQL command prompt. We need to create the database first. Now we can create database, and name of the database is nothing but create database. We have to specify class test म्हणतो मी. database नाव काय दिलं मी class test क्लास टेस्ट नावाचा डेटाबेस आहे. इथे तुम्ही एंटर की प्रेस केल्यानंतर तुम्हाला सेमीकोलन द्यावं लागतं, म्हणजे सेमीकोलन त्या ठिकाणी मेन्शन करणं अपेक्षित आहे. आता हा डेटाबेस क्रिएट झाला. ओके, वन रो अफेक्टेड म्हटलंय बघा. वन रो अफेक्टेड म्हणजे डेटाबेस काय झाला आता क्रिएट झाला. नाउ after creating the database we have to consider or we have to create a particular we can say creating a database we need to create the table. आता फक्त डेटाबेस क्रिएट करून चालणार नाही, बरोबर. आता हा डेटाबेस आपल्याला यूज पण करावा लागेल. ओके, ऑलरेडी सिस्टीम दुसरा कुठला तरी डेटाबेस यूज करत असते, आता आपल्याला हा डेटाबेस यूज करायचा आहे. नाउ फॉर दॅट पर्पज यूज command that will be given here. Use class test. Okay, now database change. By default सिस्टीमचा एक एम्प्लॉयी नावाचा डेटाबेस असतो, तो डेटाबेस असाइन झालेला असतो. आपण जर काही ऑपरेशन परफॉर्म केलं तर तो त्यावरती अप्लाय करतो. आता इथे क्लास झिरो रेकॉर्ड अफेक्टेड म्हणजे काय, ऑलरेडी तुमचं एक रेकॉर्ड त्या ठिकाणी इन्सर्ट झालेलं असणार आहे. ओके, डेटाबेसचं रेकॉर्ड क्रिएट झालेलं आहे. आता आपल्याला टेबल क्रिएट करायचा. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू सी द सिंटॅक्स फॉर क्रिएटिंग अ टेबल. How we can create the table, and accordingly we need to create that particular table. Now we have a new database created and we need to create a table in our database engine. तुम्हाला काय करायचं आहे, आता याचा टेबल क्रिएट करायचा. Now what will be the table syntax is there, create table, then table name. ओके, टेबलला तुम्हाला युनिक नाव द्यायचं. एका डेटाबेस मध्ये सारख्या नावाचे दोन टेबल तुम्हाला ठेवता येत नाही. We have the confusion. So that's why we need to neglect to neglect the common name of the given table. एका नावाचा एकच टेबल तुम्ही काय करायचं तिथे क्रिएट करायचं ज्या डेटाबेस मध्ये तुम्ही करंटली काम करता. Now here we use create table command. Create, it is the most important command. Then we mention the name of the table here, keyword table, and then name of the table. In this parenthesis we mention column 1 corresponding data type, column 2 corresponding data type, column 3 corresponding data type, up to column n corresponding data type. जसं की मी जर समजा म्हटलं की मला स्टुडंट टेबल तयार करायचा, तर ह्या डेफिनेशन नुसार आपल्याला काय करायचं, आता तो स्टुडंट टेबल त्या ठिकाणी बनवायचा आहे. Now we can use this particular syntax in creating the table. Can you see this? Now I will create the table. We use create table command, then table name, suppose student table. Okay, into bracket column 1 ला म्हटलं मी roll number, that is roll number. डेटा टाइप मेन्शन करायचा आहे, एक तर न्यूमेरिक मेन्शन करू शकता तुम्ही, इंटिजर मेन्शन करू शकता, अशा पद्धतीने तो डेटा टाइप मेन्शन केला जाईल. त्यानंतर नेम, that is name of the now name column has its corresponding data type value, that is the character type or string type data will be stored. We mention here char. For the character type data we use varchar. char. We discuss all these data types in next lecture. Varchar. Varchar in the sense, sorry, create table student. Okay, into bracket roll number, say int type, then name of the student, that is s name we can say, s name, then here varchar var 20 मी ते साईज मेन्शन केली मी इथे आणि त्याची मी पर्सेंटेज मेन्शन करतो PER. पर्सेंटेजची व्हॅल्यू आपल्याला कशामध्ये घ्यायची, फ्रॅक्शनल पॉइंट मध्ये घ्यायची, ती न्यूमेरिक टाईप असते. मग इथे मी न्यूमेरिक मेन्शन करतो, न्यूमेरिक, आणि एंडिंगला काय करतो, सेमिकोलॉन देतो. इथे एरर, सॉरी, सेमिकोलॉन दिला, काय एरर आली, we have error in the SQL syntax non-null that corresponds to that. Create table student, roll number, s name varchar 20, percentage, PER value we also consider it is in the form of integer type, and then we mention. Okay, here we represent numeric will be also applicable, but we consider currently integer. When we discuss data types in detail, then we consider that particular numeric value. Okay, query, 0 rows were affected means what, our table will be created, and if you want to see the record from this table, we use simple query, that is the select star from student. Okay, select star from student, and we give the semicolon. We have 0 rows, that is the empty set, there is no records were available in the table student. Okay, now to insert the record into the student database, for that purpose we need to use data manipulation language statement. Okay, data manipulation language statements are there, are nothing but insert statement is there one. Okay, we insert, we use the insert statement, insert into, we discuss this in insert statement in detail in next, but we have to insert 2 or more records here. Insert statement will be insert into, कशात insert करायचं, स्टुडंट मध्ये, insert into student. Okay, what you want to insert, we insert values corresponding to the given data. इथे काय काय व्हॅल्यूज दिल्या, रोल नंबर मेन्शन केलाय, नेम मेन्शन केलंय कॅरेक्टर मध्ये, आणि पर्सेंटेज मेन्शन केलंय इंटिजर मध्ये. We want to insert this roll number, which is integer value, suppose we insert 1. We insert name of the student, so the name is a varchar type, so it will be given in the form of this single quote. कशामध्ये द्यायचं तुम्हाला ते नेम, सिंगल कोट मध्ये द्यावं लागेल. Now suppose we consider the name of student is nothing but the pronoun. Okay, this is the name, then we specify the comma, and lastly we consider the percentage, we consider 76%, which is the integer type value, and at the end we insert the semicolon. Enter value will be given, one row affected means what, we have to insert one record in the given table. Then nextly we consider second student, again insert query will be given there. Second student is nothing but we have the majority of student name like Om, 67 suppose percentage is there. Okay, we have roll number 3, suppose student name can be given here, that is suppose say Vaishnavi, 70% will be given there. Okay, all these students were inserted. Now we can apply select query on this, that is select star from student. Now we have the records which are inserted at the previous 3 statements. Okay, this is nothing but the data definition language, and we have to use one statement, that is the insert statement, which is comes under the data manipulation language. Okay, this is the table creation, creating a table. We need to consider this syntax properly. Okay, creating a table with table name. Okay, create table, it is the command, and then we have the table name. Column 1 we consider roll number, data type of that column is nothing but integer. Second column we mention the name of the student, that is s name, and we mention the data type as a varchar. Then we mention third column as a percentage per say, then data type of it given to the integer type, and then we can give the semicolon. This is the creating a database, and this is nothing but creating a table under this database. The database under काय केला आपण table insert केला. Okay, all these about the these two commands. We need to consider a few more commands, but we need to stop at this point right now.